Hi guys, it's your girl Lola Loves You, and today's topic we're going to talk about Whitney Houston's makeup journey. Whitney Houston was not allowed to wear makeup until she was the age of 16. Her mother would allow her to wear makeup, but it's so funny. That summer of her turning 16, Whitney Houston became a professional model. So she was opened up to a whole brand new world of how to wear makeup by the professional version of wearing makeup. So by her being a model, she got to learn the techniques that they use, for highlighting and coloring and foundations and blushes and things of that nature. So she really got to see the inside of wearing makeup. During her modeling career, Whitney Houston booked an ad campaign for Max Factor Makeup. Also, while traveling to New York, back to Jersey, and back to New York, a young up and coming makeup artist by the name of Reggie Wells, known as the iconic makeup artist Reggie Wells today, he was a young boy at the time, and he remembers seeing this tall, slender, brown skinned uh, tall girl with that was so beautiful with short curly auburn curly hair, and he would always see her on the bus and on the train, and he never walked up to her, but he would always see her, and then he said she would disappear in the crowd, and then he recognized that she was a 17 model, and he said he always wanted to work with this lady that he used to see on the train, this girl. He always wanted to work with her. He would always see her on the train or on the bus. During her off days from modeling, Whitney Houston was regular wash face. She didn't wear any type of makeup. She liked her natural look, her natural skin, and she was fine with that. But, getting into show business was a different thing. She would soon learn that makeup was a part of the packaging. So after being signed with Arista Records, one of her first, I'll say second TV appearance was on As the World Turned with Jermaine Jackson and their performance. And even in Robin's book, she made a comment that Whitney Houston eye makeup was very heavy. So this is when Whitney Houston, when you makeup from magazine and makeup from the camera like on television is very two different things. You understand what I'm saying? So the makeup has to be a little more heavier when you're on film than when you're in a magazine, and people can, retouch a photo, but for film it has to be extra dark so it can capture the look they're going for. So the look they were going for her was a smoky eye. So her performance on As the World Turned, her makeup is very, very hard across her eyes. Her eyeshadow is extra heavy. Now, after being signed and being on making her television debuts on television, um, Whitney Houston makeup was very soft, natural, and beautiful. Just a little eyeliner, a lot of blush, a little red lip or pink lip, just a little eyeshadow, natural bushy eyebrows. So her makeup was she was already beautiful, so it just was enhancing her beauty. Now we're coming to first publication photos of her, for the record label and for her new album. So they wanted to give her a more glamorous look, with new hair weaves and wigs. So her makeup was very elegant, dark, and heavy with the eyeliner, heavy on the blush, heavy on the red lips, and heavy on the eyeshadow. And very beautiful makeup. Her makeup was very beautiful for the promotion of the Whitney Houston album. And now it's time for her to make her first debut in magazines, and one of the magazines was an Essence magazine. So Whitney Houston was booked for the issue of Essence magazine, September 1985 issue, and she had back then. When you see, this is how it was back then. Now artists just send photo shoots, photos to the magazines and not really visit the magazine. Back then, you would go to the magazine, wherever the magazine was located, the building, and you'll go to the magazine company, and they already had a studio and makeup artists and beauticians, and they had their own photographer. So back then, she was featured. She was not on the cover, but she was inside the magazine. And one of the staff members was the makeup artist for the models was Reggie Wells. And once Whitney Houston got there, he said, "Oh my gosh, you are the lady that I kept seeing disappear in the crowd. Every time I would see you on the bus or on the train." And Whitney Houston remembered him. And they laughed and they listened to her album. It wasn't out yet. So they listened to her album and she was like, he just said how sweet she was. So the photos came out wonderful. Now with his makeup techniques, you could tell he brought the brown tones in her skin out. He made her a little more darker than what she usually is, and her makeup was very nice. He gave her kind of a Claire Huxtable look. He gave her her makeup was nice, fun, rich, and with great quality makeup. You could tell that was a great quality of makeup he had. The photos came out flawless, beautiful, very beautiful photo shoots. And that was his time working with Whitney Houston. I don't know if he worked with her any other time, but he definitely worked with her for her feature in Essence magazine, because she had just, became signed with Arista Records. So I think the photo shoot was way before the photos came out. So the photos came out in September 1985, but I really believe the photo shoot was way before that. It was before her album even came out. So over the years of Whitney Houston's career in the 80s, it just was a very harsh blush, harsh smoky eye. And the makeup was really kind of harsh back then. So it could, like I said, for photos and for videos, you had to have darker makeup. So she had always a dark eye, a red lip, a pink lip, harsh blush. It was beautiful on her. Bushy eyebrows. And that with that smile and that beauty, it was just amazing. She made the makeup pop. I had a friend that we were very cool, very older, much older than me. So she was about Whitney Houston's age. When Whitney Houston came out, she remembered everything because she was Whitney Houston's age. She was in her 20s when Whitney Houston came out. So I remember her telling me, allegedly, she said she was at a record store in New Jersey, because she's from New Jersey. And she said she was at a record store and she said Robin was in the record store. And Robin said, you want to meet somebody? And she didn't know who Robin was or anything back then. And Robin took her outside and she said it was a lady just standing in front of this car. And she said she went to her and she said it was Whitney Houston. And I said, are you serious? She was like, yeah. She's like, I'm not lying to you, girl. She said, what I need to lie for? She said she went to her and she said Whitney Houston just grabbed her hand and she said was smiling. And she said when she looked at her, she said Whitney Houston was beautiful. She said, but Whitney Houston had so much makeup on. She said her face she had pounds of makeup on. She said she was beautiful. She said she looked like our pictures, but she had so much makeup on. And she was telling me how beautiful Robin was. And she said it was so nice to her. And she left after that. But she said, yep, she saw Whitney Houston in person. She said Whitney Houston looked like herself, but she said she has a lot of makeup on. This was in the 80s. So, yeah. So in the 80s, Whitney Houston had a lot of makeup on, which a lot of people like Grace Jones, Cindy Crawford, a lot of people Brooke Shields had a lot of makeup on. Beverly Johnson. It's a lot of people had, celebrities. They had a lot of makeup on. So in 1987, Whitney Houston started working with makeup artist Kevin Acon. Kevin was by this time, he was a very professional makeup artist that dealt with a lot of models for magazines. And so he had a name for himself. So she brought him along for the photo shoot for her Whitney cover for her second album. And his makeup techniques, in my opinion, of all her makeup artists, was the best. He really knew how to bring her eyes out, still with a dark eye. And his makeup was just so flawless on Whitney Houston's skin. He didn't use, with a lot of people of the African American community, especially back then, a lot of makeup artists would make the person more browner, or trying to make the skin tone even. But with his techniques, he made Whitney Houston complexion the correct complexion. She was more lighter brown than darker brown or medium brown. Whitney Houston was more of a golden lighter skin. If you see Whitney Houston without makeup, her skin is kind of light skin. So he really made her makeup really work for her. Brighten her eyes up. Was still with a dark eye, but knowing how to brighten them up. A signature red lip, signature blush, but he really would bring true beauty into her makeup. With Where Do Broken Hearts Go? That's his work. My Name Is Not Susan. That's his work. um so many Miracle, so many music videos and just covers from the 1993 Rolling Stone cover. That's his work. So if you look at any of his makeup books, he really have he always, says Whitney Houston was one of his favorite clients in his book. And she's featured on his documentary alongside with Robin. Robin said Kevin was an excellent person to work with, that he was never intrusive, but always had a camera around. And Kevin Akon has so much footage of Whitney Houston behind the scenes getting, ready for different photo shoots and video shoots. So I wish I can get a hold of his footage and just of all his archive work that he done for Whitney Houston. I really wish I could get my hands on it. But anyway, yeah. So he was an excellent makeup artist. He's one of the most iconic makeup artists around ever. Sadly, he died in 2002. So, but he was so advanced that a lot of people use his techniques to this day. You go buy any of his makeup books, Whitney Houston is featured in majority of all of them. And his techniques are used today that he was using back then. So he was ahead of his time. But in my opinion, that's my favorite Whitney Houston makeup artist. He really brought her beauty out. He had fun with her face. And he was saying Whitney Houston was naturally beautiful, so it was so easy, to paint her. But yeah, he was one of my favorite makeup artists of all time. He worked with Tina Turner, Janet Jackson, all of the greats. All of the greats. One of Kevin's iconic looks for Whitney Houston was in the 1992 issue of Elle magazine, when Whitney Houston was photographed by world-renowned famous photographer Joe Simone. He photographed Whitney Houston, and Kevin did the makeup, and it was flawless. Her pictures were phenomenal from that photo shoot. Great work by Kevin. During Whitney Houston's funeral, Kevin Costner reminisced about Whitney reading the part for Rachel Marin, and she showed up to set with regular studio makeup, just like for photo shoots or just live. And he was explaining that photo makeup for photo shoots and makeup for film are two different makeups. And he said once the camera was on her while she was reading, he said her makeup started to melt. She started to sweat her makeup off, and it was a mess. So she had to learn the difference between film makeup versus photo shoot makeup. So that was a fun makeup fact of Whitney Houston. So after Kevin's death, Whitney Houston started to work with makeup artist Roxana Floyd, and she was a very great makeup artist for the urban female. She did work with Angela Bassett and a lot of other people. So her makeup for Whitney Houston was more still the smoke eye, the browns, the brown tones, the darker lip. She gave Whitney more of a darker look, darker lip. Like she worked for Whitney on the It's Not Right But It's Okay music video, and she worked with Whitney until the set passed in 2010. Whitney Houston even paid a tribute to her in her tour, Whitney Houston's last tour book, Nothing But Love tour book. And Roxanne, it's a picture of Roxanne doing her makeup. And it's another picture of Roxanne doing, not in the tour book, but doing Whitney and Bobby Christina makeup. And she worked with Whitney until the day of, not to the day, but to the time of her passing. and she did all of Whitney Houston makeup for the I Look to You album, the tour, the award shows. You can see pictures of her behind the stage with Whitney. She worked with Whitney across seas when Whitney Houston was touring. So a lot of her makeup was really nice on Whitney. What I did not like about some of her makeup, not to critique her or anything, but she didn't like Whitney with her darker eyes. So a lot of times she would give Whitney like a gold or a brown eyebrow, which would blend in with Whitney's skin. I feel as though she should have made Whitney Houston's eyebrow a little darker, but I guess that's the look Whitney was going for. But a lot of the Whitney Houston last photo shoots, like from 2009 and 2010, was work with makeup artists. Was the makeup was from Roxanne Floyd. So yeah, Roxanne worked with Whitney during Whitney Houston, her later days and her later days. So Roxanne passed in 2010, and then a few years later, Whitney Houston passed, and that's just crazy. But yeah, that's so sad though. I seen a picture with both of them. Well, both of them are no longer here anymore. But seeing a picture with both of them together in Roxanne later days, and it's so surprising it was Whitney Houston last days as well. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's so eerie to see the picture of them, Whitney joking around while she getting her makeup done. I remember also talking to a guy, and he came over my house, and at this time I had like a Whitney Houston museum in my room, and I had photographs everywhere, even on the ceiling. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, you really like Whitney Houston?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I met her before. I saw her in concert before." And I said, "No, you didn't." He's like, "Yes, I did." And he said, he kept trying to find. He said, "She don't look like that." He said, "She do look the same, like the same person told me." He said, "That's her on the pictures." He said, "But she don't look like that person." I said, "Well, she not pretty." He's like, "No, she pretty." But he said, "She got a lot of makeup on." He said, "She has a lot of heavy eyeshadow." And then he looked at a picture from Step by Step, music video on my wall. He's like, "She looked like that. That's how she looked." And I said, "Prove it." I said, "You and me." He's like, "That's how." I took a picture at the concert. He said, "I got a picture from." He said it was a show. He said it was a show, a Vegas show, and she was singing with Paula Abdul. And he was like, "I got a picture." He's like, I'm going to send it to you. And I said, "You lying." And he said, "It's some on the internet," but he said, I got a picture from that show. It was in Vegas." And I was like, "No, you don't." And he showed me the picture. I said, "Oh my gosh." And it really was Whitney Houston. But it's just like, you could tell she has so much makeup on her face. Still gorgeous and beautiful, but a lot of makeup on her face. While on the road and touring overseas in different countries, one would wonder, who did Whitney Houston make up, And the answer to that would be Whitney Houston. I found out in one of her fan club newsletters back in the day when I was a part of the Whitney Houston's fan club. I remember reading an article in one of her fan club letters, and it showed a picture of Whitney Houston on road doing her makeup. So over the years, Whitney Houston learned how to do her own makeup. She would do her own smoky eye, her lips, her lip liner, anything you saw on a lot of her concerts, especially in 1999 and other concerts. She do her makeup. Her European tour, she did her makeup in 1998. I got pictures of that. I got pictures of her doing her own makeup in My Love Is Your Love concert. It's footage of her doing her makeup while they are holding the microphone while she's on concert singing, getting ready to go on stage singing, and they're holding the microphone while she's doing her makeup, and then she run off on stage. Whitney Houston was so iconic and epic, it was not funny. One of Whitney Houston's last makeup artists, I would say the last makeup artist she ever worked with, was a guy by the name of Reginald Darley. If I'm saying his name wrong, I'm so sorry. But anyway, he was the makeup artist that did Whitney Houston's makeup for the Kelly Price event 3 days before Whitney Houston passing. And he told Star magazine that she seemed good and vibrant and full of life. He said she was cracking jokes, having fun, laughing, and you could see pictures of him doing her makeup at the hotel at her in the very hotel, the various hotel room that she passed in. He's doing her makeup and she's laughing, smiling. He gave her this classic smoke eye. Whitney Houston loves smoke eye, and they look really nice on Whitney. He really did an excellent job. If I had them, if I ever become famous, quote unquote, or whatever case may be, I would definitely would love him to do my makeup because he made her makeup look so beautiful. Because she looked phenomenal at the Kelly Price event. Her makeup was flawless. She looked young, vibrant, happy, cheery. Her makeup was not too heavy, not too much. She was shining. She actually had a glow to her that night. So his makeup techniques were wonderful. And I give him A++ for that makeup because her makeup looked phenomenal that night. He really did a great job on her makeup. Now, of course, she sweated through the night and there was so much drama and scandals through the night. So after she left the club, of course, she was kind of sweated out, but she still looked, her makeup still was fierce. But yeah, that was the last makeup artist she ever worked with. Now, I'm not saying I don't know who did her makeup when, in her casket, but I'm talking about while she was alive. That was the last makeup artist that she worked with. And he did a phenomenal job. So this is Whitney Houston's journey through makeup. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Leave in the comments what other videos you would like to see me do about Whitney Houston, or anything you want, any stories you want to hear about Whitney Houston's past, or whatever the case may be. I think this was a fun video. I love Whitney Houston. I love her makeup. I love for everything, she stood for. And to all the makeup artists that I did not mention in this video, these were the main ones that I knew that she worked with. She worked with tons of people. So the list goes on and on, but these were the people that she worked with a lot, doing a lot of her projects, was these people that I named. But if y'all know any other makeup artists that she worked with for, doing a lot of photo shoots or video shoots, leave it in the comments below. I might do my research on it, and we'll talk about those looks that she did for those makeup artists. Also, down in the comments, please let me know what makeup that you liked the most on Whitney Houston. What was her favorite? What was your favorite makeup look? Or what favorite photo shoot or video shoot of her makeup that you like? In the comments down below. I'll be doing a video every day for Vlogmas. I know I owe y'all 3 more, and then we can catch up. But anyway, it's your girl Little Loves, and I'll be back with another video. Bye bye.